Coming up on this week's episode of the Balloon Bandits, Tim and Max take to the sky. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Balloon Bandits, where we get to see what happens when two best friends accidentally let go of their helium balloons and have to work together to get them back before they float all the way to the moon. But before we jump into this week's adventure, make sure to like this video if you haven't already, because it really helps us out. And if you want to see more from us, check out our other content. Tim and Max are best friends who love playing with their model rockets. They spend most of their free time building and launching them in the park near their houses. But today, they wanted to do something a little different. "I bet you can't throw this balloon over that tree," said Tim, pointing to a balloon that was tied off beside his rocket. It was a big red balloon, almost as big as Tim himself. "Oh yeah," said Max. "You're on," he said. Giving the string a sharp tug, he let the balloon go, and it floated up and over the tree with ease. Max smiled triumphantly. "Haha, I win," he said. But his smile quickly faded when he saw where the balloon landed. It had gotten stuck high up in the branches, and there was no way for him to reach it. "Oh," said Max. "How are we gonna get it down?" "Don't worry," said Tim. "I have an idea." He untied his own balloon, a blue one almost as big as Max, and started filling it with air. When it was nice and full, he let it go, and it floated straight up into the air. Tim gave Max the string and said, "Grab onto that and let yourself be pulled up." Max did as he was told, and soon enough he was high up in the branches trying to untangle the string from the leaves. But the more he struggled, the higher up the balloon floated, and soon the branch began to tip precariously. "Oh," said Max, "I think I'm losing my grip." "Don't worry," said Tim. "I got you." He grabbed onto the string and began pulling Max back down to the ground. But the weight of two children was too much for the air-filled balloon, and it began to shrink rapidly. Soon they were both plummeting toward the ground. "Yippee!" shouted Max as they fell. But Tim wasn't so happy. He knew they were gonna smack right into the ground. Just as they were about to hit, though, Tim remembered something his dad had told him about how helium balloons shrink at lower altitudes. "Quick," he said to Max, "let go of the string." And when Max did, the balloon immediately began to shrink. They had just enough time to land safely on their feet, but now they had a new problem. Their balloons were shrinking so fast that they were going to disappear completely in a few minutes. "We need to get out of here," said Tim. "If we don't, those balloons will disappear, and then we'll never be able to find them again." So they did. They ran as fast as they could away from the park, away from their homes, and away from everything familiar. Soon enough, the balloons were just small rubber knobs in their hands, and they collapsed completely a few seconds later. "Well," said Max, looking around at the unfamiliar surroundings, "where are we?" Just then, a man in a hot air balloon floated overhead. "Excuse me," shouted Tim. "Can you help us? We need to get home." The man looked down and saw the two boys with their deflated balloons. "Hop in," he said. "I'll take you back." And before long, they were floating above the trees, searching for the park they had come from. "There it is," shouted Max, pointing to the red dot in the distance. As they approached the park, though, they noticed something strange. All of the trees were bare and leafless. "What happened to the leaves?" asked Tim. I don't know, said Max. Maybe they were blown away in the wind. They landed the balloon and walked over to a nearby bush to hide. We can't let anyone see us, whispered Tim. If they find out we're here, they'll try to stop us from leaving. Max nodded, but he was confused. Why would they do that? He asked. Because they want to keep us from going home, said Tim. That's why they took away all of the leaves. They created an endless autumn so that no one would ever leave. Just then, a strange figure emerged from behind the bush. It was tall and thin with long, spindly arms and legs. Its head was completely round like a sphere, and its face was pale white. Who are you? Asked Max. I am the Endless Autumn, it said, and this world is my domain. We want to go home, said Tim. Can you help us? The Endless Autumn reached out a spindly finger and pointed to a nearby tree. Climb up that tree and you will find a way out of here, it said. And that is where we will leave our heroes this week. Will they be able to escape the clutches of the Endless Autumn? Will they ever see their homes again? And what does the Endless Autumn want with them? Find out next week on the Balloon Bandits when Max and Tim continue their journey home. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Balloon Bandits. If you did, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media to see what we ray up to when we rain not here. I'll see you next week on the Balloon Bandits.